140,000 came down to this land. Indian indentured servants within a 79 years span, clutching onto their lotus, crying for Mother India, with tears in their eyes and a prayer in their heart. Salam Bharat Mata. I'm a Desi from Guyana, from the Indian diaspora, Girmitia or Patogia, Mother India and Guyana. I'm a Desi from Guyana, from the Indian diaspora, Girmitia or Patogia, Mother India and Guyana. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me got to come back to Guyana some more. Me say fi pack up me grip and let me go. Me got to go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. Essequibo Ahmed Nilawati, a very sweet and charming young lady. I was lucky to be such a beauty. Very politely I said to she, oh Lilawati, your body like a gold, your face like an angel, you take away me soul. Oh Lilawati, girl come let we go. I'll be not gonna come back, I Essequibo. Well, I said, Lilawati, be my darling. I would like you to be my Nuratin. She said, no, 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 Raja. You too ugly to be me Nulata. Oh, Lilawati, your body like a gold, your face like an angel, you take away me soul. Oh, Lilawati, girl, come let we go. I'll be not gonna come back, I Essequibo. The party turn up, turn up. 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 The party turn, the party turn, the party turn, turn, turn. The barrier turn up, turn up. 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 Turn it one time. Turn it two times. Turn it 3 times. Turn, 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 turn. The barrier turn up, turn up. The barrier turn up, turn up. The party turn up, turn up. The party turn up, turn up. The party turn, the party turn, the party turn, turn, turn. The barrier turn up, turn up. The barrier turn up, turn up. The party turn up, turn up. The party turn up, turn up.
will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. I'm your host, Shameeza Ali, and welcome to Get Real with Shameeza. It is truly an honor to be here with you this evening. Tonight's show is dedicated to all teachers. You embrace our children, you hold their hands, and you guide them. You are our heroes. Thank you for everything that you do. To my brother, Faisal Baksh, and his wife, Nandini, who are teachers in Guyana, I thank you guys for everything that you do. To our Honorable Minister, Priya Manik Chan, thank you. We see you, we hear you, we see every day you go out there and you do your best. So to Priya, thank you so much for everything that you do. To all the teachers out there, we love you, we appreciate you, and we respect you. Without further ado, I do want to get right into it. I know everyone's truly excited to be here and they are ready for tonight's show. So without further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome my co-host and my dear friend, Christine Lachana. Christine, welcome to Get Real with Shameeza. Is Christine ready? All right. We'll wait for Christine. In the meantime, I'm going to read a few comments and really get to understand what you guys are feeling right now on the show. Until Christine joins us in a few. So not only tonight is dedicated to teachers, but it's dedicated to everyone who makes a real impact on our lives, which is essential workers and everyone that's been involved recently in the pandemic. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all our doctors, our nurses, teachers, and everyone who's been involved recently in the pandemic. So thank you very much. Tonight on Get Real with Shameeza, it's all about the men. And I can't wait to meet them and get real with them. I know you're all excited to meet them as well, but first, I want to take this opportunity to have a message from our sponsors. So we'll pause here for a moment and get that message in.
Enos Driving School offers training for CDL licenses, including tractor trailers, trucks, and school buses. Just think, with a CDL license, you can have access to thousands of driving jobs at large companies such as FedEx, UPS, MTA, or New York Sanitation. Enos Driving School also offers defensive driving courses and training classes for cars and motorcycles, all taught by their college-trained instructors who can even schedule your road test appointments. Inquire about other driving and training packages as well. You might even be qualified for their free CDL training, as they are a certified institution with the New York State Workforce One program. Call Enos Driving School today. They've been serving our community for over 10 years.
Calvin sing at run through. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker.
She's known as Superwoman. She's bold and outspoken. She's not afraid to be herself at any time. She can light up a room without even saying a word. Please welcome my co-host for this evening, Christina Lachana. Welcome.
Hi. Oh my God. I didn't even know you were talking about me, but thank you for that great introduction. And I am So happy to be here with you tonight. I know it's going to be very exciting. So, by the way, you look lovely, Shameeza, and thank you for having me.
Christine, you
Um,
look beautiful as usual as well. So, you know, uh,
well, thank you for that, Shameeza. But at the end of the
welcome,
show,
Superwoman.
at the end of the show, I'll show you why I look so great. Okay, just remind me. Okay.
Definitely. So I do
Okay.
want to take a moment, guys. Please share this live with your friends and family. Uh, Follow Get Real with Shameeza and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future event notifications. You have a chance tonight to win this refreshing beverage box, compliments from the Daisy Foundations. You also have an opportunity to win 2 tickets to Chutney Wine, which is August 21st at Missouri.
Close one.
So here is the question for the first ticket. The question is, Farouk M will be releasing his new song Angel Remix at this event. What is the reason behind this? So if you can answer that question, you will win a ticket to tonight to the Chutney Wine Show August 21st. So
Can you
please
repeat that question, Shameeza?
the question is, what was the reason behind Farouk song Angel remix? What was the reason? What is the reason behind this? Why did he created this? Why is he singing Angel again?
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. So comment your answers and
Comment your answers. We're looking for the answer. So, and then we will give you a second chance later on in the show to win a second ticket. So it could be the same person. You can take someone else with you, or it could be someone totally different. Also, this is your opportunity to win the beverage box compliments of Vermin the Daisy Foundations. I want to I know you guys just saw our sponsors, but look out for Ena's Driving School is adding a second location, which is 10524 Cross Bay Boulevard. So look out for that. He's also giving 10% discount to anyone that mentions Get Real with Shameeza. You'll get a 10% discount. So mention Get Real with Shameeza for that 10% discount. Please call Rayad at Allstate Insurance for all your financial and insurance needs. Mention Get Real with Shameeza for a special gift. Christine,
hi, darling.
how are you?
I'm good. I had a good day. And I feel a little tired but happy, when you always have a good day. So, but you look amazing. I love that dress. I think I can fit in it. I think.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a really nice girls' night out dress. So
First, now you're making me think.
hint, if you know what I mean.
Oh, hint. Wow, great.
I know we've been trying to coordinate a girls' night out for a while, but I think we could get it done before the end of the summer.
End of the summer. Definitely, I'm sure we can make things happen.
So Shameeza, I know we've been talking about tonight's show for a very long time, and I especially wanted to be on tonight. Not that the other guests were not, wonderful people. You've had wonderful guests on,
Right.
but I especially wanted to co-host tonight with the lineup that you have for tonight. It's just like great, like really awesome and accomplished men. They're just all wonderful guys. And I believe they're all Guyanese, right?
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, we're all Guyanese tonight on the show. So that's quite something, right?
Yeah. Listen, is that a glass of wine you have there?
Which one? This one?
That's a cup of wine?
Christine. Oh, maybe this one?
Oh, it's a timer. It's not, it's a hourglass.
Oh, Christine, you're seeing things, girl.
Maybe I had too much wine.
But listen, maybe you did. Maybe you did. I saw that you went to dinner earlier, so maybe you did have a little bit too much. But listen,
It was
we
margarita.
have an eventful night, and I'm super excited because we have an amazing lineup. So without further ado, I do want to take this opportunity to introduce my first guest for tonight. Quite often, we come across stories of persons beating the odds to excel in their lives, odds that are worthy of highlighting, and in an effort to provide some hope to others who may be going through the same situation. His story of overcoming mountainous hurdles to excel in every aspect of life, moving forward from a school dropout to a PhD in education, shows that his hard work and determination to plaster his name beyond the banks of the Maikoni River succeeded. Please welcome Dr. Tamashwar Budhoo. Welcome, Dr. Tamashwar. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Shameeza. Good evening, Christine. Good evening, viewers. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I want to thank you for inviting me to this show.
Well, we are truly honored to have you here this evening.
Thank you.
So,
Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Christine.
So
nice to meet you. I'm finally being able to see who you are. I've seen you on the flyer in that nice blue attire that is not a very inexpensive attire. That comes with a lot of, there it is.
Yes.
So, Dr. Tamashwar, your story has inspired many, and I'm happy that you could make it with us here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your upbringing. I know you grew up in Berbice. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
So, thank you, Christine. And thank you, Shameeza. I grew up in Maikoni River, which is on the east coast of Demerara. It's about 77 miles away from the capital city of Georgetown. It's a remote community. It's called Waterdog Creek. It's situated on the left bank of the Maikoni River. So I grew up in a very humble household. My parents are farmers, and I've attended the Carmel Primary School, to where I have completed most of my early years of academic journey before leaving school at second form, because I've completed then what was called the SSP Part 1 and 2. I did that, the SSP Part 1 in Form 1, which you were supposed to take in Form 2. And then I took the Part 2 in Form 2, which you're supposed to take all the way in the fourth year. So I finished school. At that stage, there were nothing else on the curriculum for me. So basically, I dropped out at Form 2, at the end of Form 2 in school in the Maikoni River. And I started farming with my family, my mom and dad. And I was about 14 plus when I left school, becoming a farmer. It's a rewarding journey. Farming is a great activity. It's one of the things that we live on in the Maikoni River. It's a farming community. And when I was about 16 plus, I applied to teach because I wanted to change the dynamics of my life. And I saw education as a passport to the future, a bright future. So I applied to teach, and I got a teaching job when I was about just 17, just turning 17 years old in 1996. I think it was the 31st of January, 1996. I was appointed an acting teacher at Carmel Primary School. They hired teachers to teach in those remote communities who are not qualified, because it's hard to get teachers to go in there to teach because of the remoteness of that community. And so that begins my academic journey. In 1998, I took what was then a pre-guide exam that will allow me training to attend the Sarasota College of Education, which will certify me as a teacher. So I took that exam and I was successful. It was math and English. And then I joined the GUIDE program, which was the Guyana In-Service Distance Education program. And that program was geared to help teachers who didn't meet the requirement for entry into colleges to bring them up to that level. And when I joined that program, Shameeza, I was the only teacher on that program without CXC. Because I haven't had an opportunity to attend high school because of the location of where I live and the geography of that community. And then to that compound with financial constraints at that point, my parents were going through. And so I took the GUIDE program between 98 and 2000. And at the end of that program, I was the only teacher graduating with a distinction. I took the science prize, the education prize. I was named the ideal GUIDE student for that year with 100% attendance. And that opens up a bright future for me because I got automatic entry into the Sarasota College of Education in Georgetown. And I was accepted in the primary program. And I love math. Math is one. Math and science are two areas that I really love. And it was a debate whether I should do math or science. And I always consult with my parents because I believe that when you consult and you have your parents' blessing, you're always successful. So I consulted with my mom, and she said I should do math because there's a big demand for math teachers locally, internationally, and globally. So I took the math program, which was 3 years at the college, and I graduated third place, I think, that year, taking the permanent secretary prize for the best teacher on teaching practice and the student council prize at the Sarasota College of Education graduation in the year 2003. And that was the beginning of a lot of journeys through in the realm of academic for me, because after that, I went back to serve my community at Maikoni Secondary School, where I taught between 2003 to 2005. And then I applied to the University of Guyana. And again, I challenged myself. I didn't want to do an education degree. I did the bachelor's in pure and applied math at the University of Guyana. And I graduated in 4 years, which was the length of the program. And at the end of that program in 2009, I was promoted to head of department math at North Georgetown Secondary School. And I saw opportunity for growth again. So I enrolled again at the University of Guyana, this time to read for a postgraduate diploma in education, majoring in math. I graduated with honors in that program. I again took the best teaching practice prize, which was the Guyana Teachers Union Prize for teaching practice. And in 2012, I was offered a full-time lecturing position at the Sarasota College of Education, my alma mater. And I accepted that because I was part-time teaching at the Sarasota College of Education while I was attending University of Guyana between 2005 to 2012. In 2012, when I was appointed at CPCE, the World Bank was giving scholarships to lecturers at the college who had a first degree and needed to up their qualification to that of a master's level. And I was one of the candidates who was successful and was awarded one of the World Bank scholarship. I read for a master's in math education at Wallen University. That program is 2 years. I challenged myself and I finished that program in 13 months. So I graduated early with honors. And in 2015, when I attended the Wallen graduation in Baltimore, I said to myself that I'm wearing a graduation gown with no pip on the arm. And if you notice, the PhD gown has 3 pip.
Yeah.
And I said to my colleague while I was standing in the line, I said to her, I will be wearing that velvet gown with the 3 pip one day. And 2016, I enrolled at Wallen University, this time self-financing. And in 2 years, I have completed reading for all my academic courses. I'm graduating with honors. I don't like to say this, but I'm graduating with almost a 3.6 GPA on a PhD program. And my major is curriculum instruction and assessment. And, so for me, I have walked the road of struggle to where I am today, because many nights, when I did the interview with Trevor on Guyana Times, you realize that to access Maikoni Secondary School, where those trainings were happening, I had to walk many days through the mud road to get to Maikoni Secondary School. And in the evening, it was the same journey, because it was every Saturday. Classes starts at 8 in the morning and goes until 4, because we were taking courses in math, English, science, and education psychology.
Wow.
So to sum it up, I always say to people, set goals, set high expectations, hold yourself to those expectations, and never give up.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well said there, Dr. Budhoo.
That was a mouthful.
Yes.
And I knew that.
I know you mentioned that you dropped out of school because to work on your parents' farm, because,
Yes.
but then you realized farming was not for you. What about farming you didn't like?
It's not that I didn't like farming, but I saw myself at a very early age as an academia, because I've participated in school quiz competition, to which I've always named the top quiz candidate. And then when I took common entrance in 1989, many years ago, I topped my community, I topped the school. Similarly, when I took the SSP part 1, I got 5 A's on the subject, which were 5 subjects, I got all 5 A's. And when I took the part 2, which was crop and animal science, I got straight A's. So there was something in me that said to me that, I need to push myself, because there's a bigger dream out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you knew that there was more to you than just being a farmer, just being on the farm. You saw
Yes.
something there that you wanted to pursue.
Yes.
And I know, Christine, I know you through your journey in life, which hopefully one day you will come to Get Real with Shameeza and you'll talk about that.
Soon
But
enough. Soon
I know
enough.
you are one of those people who
Listen,
definitely believe that there's
my
more to someone than,
accomplishments.
what they
I
see
mean,
in front
we
of
all
them.
have different
We all
levels.
push ourselves.
Yeah.
And you are like you're the epitome of pushing yourself and being the best version of yourself, right?
Right.
So,
But
we can definitely
Shameeza,
identify with you, Dr.
they
Budhoo,
say
as to what you're
different.
saying, because some of us have been there and we know what we're talking about when it comes to what you're saying right now, pushing yourself and seeing something there.
Yes.
Yeah, they say different strokes for different folks, and though farming, we're not gonna give that any less credibility than what it is, because right now agriculture can be one of the most important things in the world going on right now, and there's quite a need for more farmers. It's very scientific, actually, to be a good farmer, and I don't have a green thumb. It's something I definitely aspire to do. So I'm sure your family knows their stuff really well. But going back to the geographical obstacles that you endured, and that's one of the reasons why I know that robe that you wear, that the graduation robe, that costs a lot. When I mean it costs a lot, not just financially with the travel expenses, but the dedication that you must have had. You had to have some kind of drive to say, I'm going to go through this mud, to keep going after my dreams. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't know what is 2 + 2 right now, because that's not something that, and you're quite the mathematician, Dr. Budhoo. That's really what you are. You're a mathematician.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how amazing. I truly respect people like you. I think it's a very attractive attribute to have, right? I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie uh, with Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind?
Beautiful mind.
No, it's
No.
on my list to do. It's on
Oh,
my list.
you got to check it out. But
Yeah.
I've always heard that math is like riding a bicycle, right? Once you know it, you'll never forget it.
Well, math, as it was put by a philosopher, is the queen and science of everything.
Of everything.
Yeah, of everything. There is beauty and poetry in mathematics.
That's right.
There is beauty and poetry. So there is no ugly, there is nothing ugly about mathematics. It's one of the most beautiful subjects. And I keep saying to young people and everyone I come into contact with, you do math every day of your life.
Oh, yeah.
You travel, you keep time.
That's
you
it.
know,
Quantum physics, everything is about.
You cook,
You
right?
measure.
Right now we're doing math because we're balancing time on a
That's
program.
correct. We sound like such nerds, but I'll tell you something. Once you get into, a lot of people don't like math because they never got into the groove of it. You know, once you get into that rhythm of math, it feels amazing and lights up your whole body.
Yes.
That's such a nerd thing to say, I know.
So
Definitely
what?
does, Chris. Speaking of 2 plus 2, Christine, I'm sure you can do the math on that. Come on, Chris. I know you can do the math on that.
Not when you had a couple of margaritas, but yes.
Oh, well, that's a whole different
So
thing. Dr. Budhoo, I want to read some of your words that was written recently in an article.
yes.
So if you allow me,
Go ahead.
I can, go ahead and read this. It says, I remember the first week because of the terrain and the condition, the sneaker bottom went. I took a bag needle and some cast net twine and I stitched the sneaker around. So it will take me until I get salary, which is 3 months. And because of the remoteness of that community, it's not easy to get on a boat or transportation to get a new sneaker immediately. So I wore a sneaker stitched with polythene twine for 3 additional months until I got my first salary to get a new pair of sneaker and clothes.
Yes.
These are your words. Can you tell us a little bit
So
about
when I got the teaching job, I was invited to collect the letter of offer. I actually walked from where I live at Waterdog Creek, Maikoni River, all the way out to the Maikoni Branch Road. And then I held the sneaker in my hand and I walked through the mud road, cross the river over, get on a passenger car to go to Central Maikoni to pick up my letter. So it was a white sneaker, a pair of white sneakers I had. And so in the first week, end of the first week, that sneaker bottom started to loose. And because of where we live, it's not easy to get transportation to go to Central Maikoni to get a new sneaker. So I took polythene twine and bag needle and stitched it up because usually they will stitch the sneakers to make them strong. And I used that as a thing. And I stitched that sneaker. And this is something I must say. A few years ago, when I was living in Georgetown while I was lecturing at the college, my mom visited me. Usually she visited me often to spend weekends and what have you. And she looked around my apartment and she said, in quiet tone, she said, I could remember that day you were stitching those sneakers, but today I'm looking around here and you have more than 9 pairs of shoes.
Wow.
Well, there's nothing wrong in spoiling yourself when you've worked so hard for it,
Yes.
So that's amazing.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Christine, at this time, I'll let you go ahead with the question.
So one of the things that I admire about you and your story, with all your accomplishments and every degree that you had, you must have had opportunities to go abroad and study or even work. What was one of the reasons you decided to stay in Guyana?
So I'm Guyanese by heart, and because of my struggle for education, I've never taught in a private school. I've always dedicated my service to giving back to the schools where children, where there's a need for me, where I think I can make a bigger change in the lives of children. Because um, one of my fundamental belief as a teacher is that if I can change the life of one child in a home, that can change positive, can have a ripple effect
That's right.
in that home. Because if one child can get a job, it helps to lift the family out of poverty if they're in poverty. It brings new ideas and information into that home. It brings a whole new change in lifestyle and setting. And so because of that, I stayed in education Guyana until 2016. So I spent 20 years teaching in education Guyana, from primary all the way to Sarasota College of Education. In 2016, I contested to become I entered the political race to become the counselor, one of the elected counselor for the city of Georgetown, under the then opposition PPP. I was elected to that seat on the larger remainder. I didn't win the elected seat, but I got the seat because of the proportional representation. And that political stint short-lived because I started to look, as you said, what I had an international degree, a master's from the US, and I said to myself, I have an international degree, but I have no international experiences to match this degree.
Right.
So I start sending my applications abroad, and I subsequently got a job in Bermuda, the beautiful island of Bermuda. So I migrated at the end of August 2016. I gave up politics. I packed 20 years of my professional life into two luggage. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know anything about the island much other than the story we all hear about the Bermuda Triangle and things disappearing.
Yeah.
And so I came here. It's a beautiful island. I've been here since 2006. And 2 years into the profession here, I was promoted to content leader math. So I'm currently serving as a content leader math for a middle school on the island.
Oh, so you're in Bermuda now?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, but I want to sidetrack a bit to put this on record. One of the reasons I deviate from not doing a doctorate degree in math, because everyone is asking why not do a doctorate degree in math. Because if you look at my line of qualification, I have a trained teacher certificate in math. I have a bachelor's in pure math. I have a postgraduate in math and a master's degree in education math. Now, all of that helped to build my content repertoire of knowledge in the realm of mathematics. But how do I take all of that now and put it into schemes of work, into curriculum? Right. So that is why I decided I'm going to pursue a doctorate degree in curriculum instruction and assessment. So with all the pedagogical and content skills I have, I can now write that curriculum. And so I can share what I have gathered over the years in curriculum design. And so that was one of my reasons for switching from my path of doing a doctorate in math, because have I considered doing a doctorate in math? Yes, I did. And I also was thinking about doing another degree in law, because it's one of the area I'm very fond of. But that law dream has gone through the window now that I have completed the doctorate in curriculum instruction and assessment. I'm currently lecturing also at the University of Guyana, so I'm currently giving back to Guyana. I'm teaching on the Faculty of Education, both Turkine and Berbice campus. So I am Guyanese by heart, and I'm ready to give back to the Sarasota College of Education. Should I have expressed an interest to teach in the evening for them, because I would like to give back to Guyana as much as I can. especially with the new knowledge that I have. I'm a son of the soil. I was educated by the government of Guyana. Um, and so therefore, I honestly feel that I'm indebted to serve my country in whatever capacity, present itself to me.
Wow.
Okay. Well, something about you makes me feel like at any moment you can decide to pursue that law degree.
Well, that's a vision my dad has. He wanted me to be a lawyer. My mom saw me as the professor at a very early age. um, but my dad thought when I finished my master's, my dad, the gong, I think the master's gong is black. My dad said I would look better in a law gong being wearing the black log on, but I enjoy doing what I do. Like I'm an academic. I have no shame saying this. I'm an academic junkie. I'm always ready to learn. I'm always ready to take on new skills, new challenges, and I'm always willing to share. I one other philosophy I have many philosophies in life, but one of them that I have is that if I climb the mountain, I will teach everyone to get on top.
Amazing.
It's not that I get on top and I stay there. I'm
That's
not.
the barrel.
Yeah, no. I'll teach everyone. I'm not one of these people who are stingy with knowledge, because I always feel that when you take knowledge to your grave, there is no use for it.
Yeah.
A lot of bright brains go to the grave without sharing. I want to share, because service to humanity is the greatest gift anyone can give to this world.
Okay. Well, Dr. Budhoo, I'm not sure if Shameeza has any more questions for you, but before I hand it over to her, I have to tell you that I did pick up on something else that you mentioned, and it's the fact that your father thought of you of a lawyer, and your mother thought of you as a professor, and that's very taboo or not a typical thing that you would see in Guyana. Your parents who are farmers in Maikoni and have such dreams for their children. A lot of our parents, they couldn't think that far in those times, much less to have such dreams for themselves or their kids. So hats off to your parents for having big dreams for you, and for you to follow your dreams and inspiring others and helping others to also learn and grow.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, Christine, thank you. Dr. Budhoo, speaking of Guyana, giving back to Guyana, speaking of your contribution to Guyana, to different, university and everything, brings me to my next question. I know during your journey, you must have met a lot of teachers. Uh,
Yes.
was there a teacher who had a profound impact on you?
Yes, and she is still my lifelong mentor, and that teacher is Mrs. Rajwanti Parmal. Mrs. Rajwanti Parmal served as the head of department math at the Sarasota College of Education, and she has followed me through my academic journey. She had read my postgrad thesis, she read my master's thesis, and she has also corrected my doctoral thesis. So she is one of my lifelong mentor and idol in education. And she always encourages me to think positive. She said, "You're young, and give most of your productive life productively in education."
Wow.
Well, thank you to her. Great teachers
Yeah,
are
if
very
she's
important because,
watching you right
yeah.
now, I hope that she understands the impact that she has left on you. Now, as an underqualified teacher, your salary was $3,000 when you started first,
Yes.
which is equivalent to about $15 US
Yes.
monthly, which was very low. But despite all these odds, you kept going. If
Yes.
you could go back in time and change anything about your life, what would it be?
Not one bit. I love everything about my life. It's a journey, and I think it's a rewarding journey, and I have no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No
None.
regrets.
No.
Definitely. I love that. I
Yeah, that's
totally
amazing.
love that. You said you have no regrets. And I think no matter what life throws at us, it's a learning experience. It makes us stronger. And we should never have regrets about life, because these hurdles, these little setbacks are just ways for us to be stronger. So I'm happy that you said that. Now, the last 18 months, we have seen the value of teachers in our society. As a teacher, what would you say is one of the biggest struggles to teachers?
That's a very good question, Shameeza. So one of the biggest struggle we go through in the pandemic is effectively deliver curriculum to students using technology. However, in my jurisdiction, because of the advancement of technology here, it was easy for me to switch to a blended modality of delivery. I was able to quickly switch to Zoom because while lecturing math at CPC, I also lecture information and communication technology. So I was teaching teachers at CPCE, the Sarasota College of Education, how to use technology to teach in the classroom. So when the pandemic hit, it was just me throwing in the skills I had already had and was passing on to young teachers in Guyana into action. So I quickly brush up on my Google Classroom skills and Zoom and all the other platform. I was able to get up and ready running once they said switch online, because I studied online. I'm an online student and distance education student. So it was easy for me to switch. However, I know it's a challenge for other teachers, especially with connectivity and how do they effectively. I know in Guyana teachers use Profachoro, they use their WhatsApp messages and so on. And I would like to to congratulate and to say thank you to all my colleagues in education who has lived the journey of being a true educator during this period of pandemic. In my jurisdiction, we went back to school in September full time in the classroom. And I'm hoping, I know I may get licks to say this, but I'm hoping that Guyana, the teachers can go back to the classroom in September because the children are years behind in terms of receiving curriculum instruction across the world. This is a global phenomenon. Children are 2, 3 years behind the time, and so therefore, one of the things we need to do is to start looking at post-pandemic plan and program. How do we strategize to ensure that there is not only effective delivery, but to ensure that there is quality of that delivery across the board, and at the same time fill in missing gaps as we go along. So one of the things I'm hoping to see across the world currently is the implementation of what we call remediation in education, where a slot is set aside every week for children to fill, for teachers to coach and mentor children who have missing gap. And also, as we go past this pandemic, we plan for post-pandemic. I think education across the world should be 4.5 days with half of a day dedicated
Absolutely.
to mental health and wellness, because the mental health and wellness of the teachers and the students are important, because we will come to a point where we'll have both teacher and student burnout.
I'm so happy you said that because actually, after years of not doing a Facebook Live, I actually engaged a few days ago out of frustration and anger because I have kids who are in school, and the teachers, as well as they are trying to do with the pandemic, there's only so much they can do. And I'm so happy that you said that we need to get these kids back in the classrooms. You need to have that human to human interaction.
Yes.
And, seeing my kids who were straight A students and so passionate, about their academics, to see them say and almost go into a depression and develop anxieties, and all this online stuff really isn't healthy for them. And teachers, they see that the students aren't motivated, and they start to question, what am I really doing here? Is there a purpose that I'm serving here? It's a frustration on both ends. So I'm so happy that that's your view, that we definitely need to get them back into the classroom.
And then too, Christine, the I think is the American Psychological Association have a document where they talk about the screen time for students. Like in my jurisdiction, we have a break after every 30 minutes of screen time, and so that too takes away from the effectiveness and quality of instruction, because once children get sidetracked and distracted, it's hard to put them back together to sit down and really complete. And then as a teacher, you're sitting behind a monitor. You're not sure what is going on at the other end of the screen, whether they're completing the task, whether they put up a picture. Sometimes you have children just type connecting.
Oh, yes.
And so on. And so we need to get back to the classroom in September across the world. Excuse me. I know vaccination is a choice, and but as a teacher, I was one of the first people to put my name down to be vaccinated, because I'm very cognizant that on a day-to-day basis, I interact with 80 children and 40 staff members. And should I contract anything, I'm actually putting 80 households and another 40 members staff at risk. So to eliminate that, I got vaccinated as early as January. So, moving forward, I will encourage my colleagues in education. I can't say to them that you must, but I can say to them, I encourage you to think at the bigger picture, get vaccinated, get on board, so we can have our children back in the classroom in September 2021.
Wow, well said there, Dr. Budhoo. Speaking of vaccination for our teachers, I thought I just saw in the news here in the US where teachers who are not vaccinated will be required to check in every few weeks. They will have to do a COVID test if they're not fully vaccinated. So something to think about. With that said, I do want to take a question at this time from one of our viewers, Nandini Deonarain. She is a teacher in Guyana. She says, there is a lack of males in the teaching profession. What do you feel is the cause of this? And what can be done to encourage more males in the profession?
I can answer that question two ways. I can give a political answer to that question, and I can answer it honestly. The honest answer to that question is the issue of salary. A teaching salary across the world, not only in Guyana, is not very attractive to male staff, male teachers. And that is why there is a big gap, a big disparity between male and female teachers, if I'm to say this, in education across the world. The male teachers who stay in education across the world, and more so in Ghana, they have a passion, they love what they do, and they do it with love. However, when you think about a man who has a wife and children to live, currently, if I'm correct, the salary for a teacher in Guyana in US conversion is not more than $700.
Wow.
A month.
That's nothing.
Yeah, and you have to have a degree to get about $700 a month. So if you have an associate degree in education, you'll be taking home about say 80,000, 90,000 Ghana dollar, which is not adequate. And I think the government is moving in a direction to make, as we progress slowly, changes are going to happen, and the right salary is going to come. If I may share this, because I speak very frankly and openly. Somebody with me who has a doctorate in education, if I'm to go home back and work in education Guyana, they offering me a salary of 300,000 Guyana dollar, which is 1,500 US. After I spend 45,000 US dollar to do a PhD, so it's not it for me. You have to you have to pay people um, so that they can live comfortably.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not encouraging others to pursue, especially when you have a head of household, which would be primarily, the men, right? And they have a family to take care of. It's not encouraging for going to school all this time, and that's all you would be making. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, and when you were in that line with politics. Did you have any ideas? And I know this might take all night, but ballpark, roughly speaking, did you have any ideas that you would have implemented as an incentive for encouraging more teachers?
So what we did as when we were then in government in between 2008 2009 up until 2015 was to add uniform allowances, what to add duty free concessions. The government then of Guyana were given incentives to encourage more male staff to come on board, because you're getting a uniform allowance to help substantiate your salary. You're getting duty free if you're in senior position. And I must compliment the current Minister of Education, who has reiterated the need for I saw the document, the duty free concessions for senior members of staff in the teaching profession, and also uniform allowances for teachers to help to cushion some amount of cost. Yeah. But it's going to get better. Ghana, I was home in Ghana for 26 days, and I've seen a lot of growth and development in Ghana. It's moving forward. And with that kind of mindset, I see in a year time, teachers are going to get salary that are comparable with many of us who work and live overseas. And they can, and that will by itself encourage more male teachers in the system.
Great.
Yes, I hope so.
Perfect. Well, Dr. Budhoo, I do want to take this opportunity to thank you for being here this evening. It was a pleasure to have you. I wish you well on your future endeavors, and take care of yourself.
Thank you, Shameeza, and thank you, Christine. It was a pleasure being here, and thank you to all of yours.
It was an honor to meet you, sir.
Have a great evening.
Same here. You too.
Well, that was nice. You saw the nerd in me come out for a second.
At this time, we will have a message from our sponsors. So please take a moment and enjoy this message.
Enos Driving School offers training for CDL licenses, including tractor trailers, trucks, and school buses. Just think, with a CDL license, you can have access to thousands of driving jobs at large companies such as FedEx, UPS, MTA, or New York Sanitation. Enos Driving School also offers defensive driving courses and training classes for cars and motorcycles, all taught by their college-trained instructors who can even schedule your road test appointments. Inquire about other driving and training packages as well. You might even be qualified for their free CDL training, as they are a certified institution with the New York State Workforce One program. Call Enos Driving School today. They've been serving our community for over 10 years.
Gavin sing at Rancho. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker.
He's humble and he's admired in his community. He can sell just about everything, but today he's here to speak about real estate. And I'm ready to find out everything that is going on in the real estate market. Like most of you, I'm going in circles when it comes to real estate. So let's get to it. Welcome, Jack. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Shameeza. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. First of all, congratulations on your program. I watched you grow up and, to sit next to you here and have you hosting a talk show, it brings joy to my heart. First of all, I know you said this is Teacher Week, I believe.
I wanted to acknowledge the teachers
Right.
and
So,
dedicate this show
so
to
I'm
them.
playing my part. My eldest daughter is a teacher. So, I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Alicia. She teaches at high school. So, and thank you for acknowledging teachers and frontline workers. Tonight, of course, in my capacity as a realtor, I'm a broker in New York and in Florida. But on today's show, I really don't want to get in. It's a long, lengthy topic to discuss in such a short time.
Definitely.
But I want to thank the community. I want to thank the folks who have supported me over the years. And whatever question you have and I can answer it, I'll do the best I can.
I'm sure Christina's here. She's ready to ask some questions too. So, like you said, Jack, we actually grew up together, right? I know you're from Barbies, but you moved to Ocean View.
Well, that's a technicality. So my mom from Barbies. So
Right.
back in the days when your mom ready to give birth, she goes back to her mom's house. So I was literally born in Bloomfield, but 3 days after, my grandmother from West Coast came and grabbed me. And then but I did go back to spend
That's how it
holidays.
happened.
Yep. But my whole
I'm
life I
happy
grew up
you
in Ocean
cleared
View.
that up because Ocean View is the place that I would say Jack is from.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
some people will argue, well, Jack is from Barbies.
Oh well, don't fight over me. I'm a true Guyanese, right? Born in
Guyanese,
Barbies,
doesn't
raised in
matter
West
where.
Coast.
Definitely. Now, what was your first job when you came to America?
Shameeza, when people ask me that, we all come from humble beginnings, and I like to tell a story. I literally, I was a gas attendant back then. There was no self service. You had to pump gas, and I was a gas attendant pumping gas, and every Friday night I used to get robbed
The gas station.
at a gas station. Yeah, because back then, you put the horse in, you pump the gas, and as soon as you take it out, the guys drive away. Comes out of your paycheck. So it was, but it's I use adversity
Yeah.
to learn from and to better myself, and it makes me, and ironically also as opportunity, because at the gas station is where I met my future employer, and then I went to work in the city. So from a bad experience, something good come out of it, and the rest is history.
Several bad experiences.
Yeah.
It's every Friday night.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but it was like $5, $10. It wasn't major, back then, but still.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what motivated you, right? So from being being a gas attendant,
Mhm.
right, at a gas station, you chose real estate at some point.
Yes. Well, look, I
What made
mean,
you want to be in real estate?
when I came to this country, I was 17 years old, and I'm not going to tell you what year because then you'll know my age. But and of
Viewers
course,
might find out, but
just
I know we grew up together.
just left high school in Guyana. Graduated from Zeeburg. Then I went to Saints for one semester, and then I came here. And for other reason, I didn't get into college right away, so I had to wait. And in the meantime, doing odds and end job. But then the first chance I got, I started Queens College in Flushing. So I was doing that part time. And it took me 9.5 years for a 4 years degree, which I'm proud of, because I stuck to it and I see it to the end. And then life happened. So I opened up my office supply company. And then I got dabbled in mortgage for a little while. And in the meantime, I was flipping houses. I fell into that. And then after the market crash, I decided to go retail because I know a lot of people in the community. And, I just want to say something, Shameeza. There's a lot of great real estate people out there. And I don't compete, I collaborate. And if you're a realtor and you do right by your people, please, by all means, use those realtors. Of course, there are one or two bad apples that make it bad for all of us. But like I said, I'm not in competition with anyone. I collaborate. If you so choose to use me, and I don't want people to come to me because I'm Guyanese. I want them to come to me because I can do a good job, and I have a rapport with them, and I could serve them or serve their needs. And of course, because of my Guyanese, and if that helps, that's icing on the cake.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, everyone is speaking of a housing bubble,
Mm.
right? What can you tell us about this?
Well, here's the thing. If I had a crystal ball, then I guess I'll be Jeff Bezos on the space mission. Look, this is what I say to people: if you can afford to pay the mortgage, whatever that number is, right?
Yes.
This is New York City, right? And if you're thinking about buying here, real estate traditionally has gone up. So look at your situation. Don't just go buy a bigger house because your neighbor bought a bigger house and they move out and you can't afford it. Because real estate is one of those things, people, you want to live within your means and not above your means. So I'm saying, well, is it the right time to buy or wait? Well, there's folks who have waited now and they lose out 15, 20, 30, 40,000 houses have gone up over the past couple of months. Because one thing this pandemic has taught us is that it throws everything out the window. You know, people are working from home, people are not going back to work. I mean, and your home has become more than a home. It's your home office where life happens. It's everything. So that has driven the price up. Now, whether or not price is going to come down, a couple of things is at play here, right? And I'm no economist, but let's be realistic. The PU, the pandemic unemployment assistance, is about to run out, I believe, in September. Here's the problem. Go into any roti shop, go into any grocery store, there's not workers there. There's a long line. They can't get people to go to work because it's better for folks to stay home and they get more money. And I'm going to segue into something else. Landlords. Landlords are people. They're working people also. And they have a mortgage to pay. And you got tenants collecting unemployment money and not giving the landlord not even half the rent. All right. And those money, the landlord may never see it back. So there may be, and I'm not predicting this, and I have no scientific base of this, but from my experience, I think there will be a wave of problems with people who are not paying their mortgage because there's only so much the bank can do forbearance or, keep deferring your mortgage. At some point, somebody's going to have to pay. And if you can't pay, then it goes into foreclosure. But let's be real. Foreclosure is a process. It takes time. So unemployment is not going to run out today and tomorrow housing is going to crash. I don't think that's going to happen. Since 2008 with a major financial meltdown, banks have put into place, more stricter rules. So for example, 20% down, you have more equity stake in the house. All right. Definitely. But like I said, I tell people, they ask me, when is the right time to buy? The right time is to buy when you can afford it and it makes financial sense to you. And your situation may be different from someone else's situation. And that would be my advice.
Wow. So you heard that, guys. He said it's all about you. What is the right time for you? Again, don't. What is it saying? Don't hang your hat where you can't reach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So don't hang your hat where you can't reach. At this point, we'll take a question from Christine. Christine, what is your question for Jack? Can we get Christina? We're waiting for a question.
Hi.
Christina's
Hi, Jack. Good night. I'm back on. Sorry. I went to get some snacks. I hope you didn't mind.
So question for Jack.
Yeah. So Jack, I really like your views about don't hang your hat where it can't reach. And the fact that you're keeping it, you're being realistic about the way we're spending, right? So when we talk about inflation and the prices of houses, and this is not to discredit any of your fellow colleagues in the real estate world, but do you feel like realtors sometimes overprice or underprice houses just for the sale and the commission?
Well, Christy, that's a great question. And here's the reality, right? So what people have to realize, real estate is based upon market value, income approach, or cost approach. Those are the three ways that banks will value property. So for residential, you can have a golden toilet in your house. That doesn't mean it's worth $1 million. Everybody's emotionally attached to their property, so they feel it's worth more than what it is. So what it does, there's something called comps. An appraisal will come out, and then what will end up happening, they will take your home and 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 on a similar home, not identical, that's sold within the last 6 months. And then they'll use those value to say, okay, therefore your house is worth this much. But what's happening to Christine is this pandemic has thrown everything out the window. So there's a bidding war going on. So all of someone house's value at, let's say, 450,000, buyers are willing to outbid other people and paying 25 and 50 and 100,000 more than what it is. So what happens to that is that if that house now that was supposed to sell for 450 end up selling for 500, it raised the comp. So your neighbor or your colleague down the street selling 3 months from now doesn't have to worry about 450 anymore. They're at 500.
Yeah.
So it raises everyone's value.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, look, in any business, in any profession, you're going to have, people who are gaming the system for whatever reason, right? So,
Right.
but like buyers beware, sellers beware. You have to be smart. I mean, if something's too good to be true, you may want to question it.
Yeah.
Call around. Do some research. Like for example, when I have a deal, Christine, I have my client. I love for them to go on Zillow or on Realtor.com and you put a comment, and I don't pay for that. That's coming from their heart.
Yeah.
And you want to talk, you want to interview a few people, and they have to answer your question. A lot. Look, I say any monkey could put on a shirt and tie and run around there. Maybe eventually, by grace of God, they will sell a house.
Yeah.
You got to look at experience. You have to look at, the word in the street, what people are saying.
Right.
And like I said, I think there are more good realtors out there than the few bad ones. And like I said, I don't compete. I collaborate. I mean,
Collaborate.
many of my friends are realtors. We talk amongst ourselves. But like again, there's a few people who will game the system. And the truth of the matter is this: when a buyer is emotionally attached to a property, maybe the number or the street face, the east, and they pray that way, they're willing to pay what, and if they can afford it, they'll
Yeah.
buy it. So sometimes I'll tell a client, well, your house is worth 500 for argument's sake.
Yeah.
And then they'll get 510 or 520 because that buyer, for whatever reason, want to live next to their cousin.
Yeah.
How
And they
do I
sell.
explain it? What I didn't know. Well, the market was telling me 500, but that buyer has an emotional interest in that property. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think, there are some, on the hand dealings, but I think that's far and few in between. People are smart.
Well,
out there.
that's
The
where I
internet,
was headed when
you
I
can
was
do a lot of
thinking about that
research.
question.
You can speak to, fellow homeowners who have recently sold or bought. And again, I have talked to many people. They have not done business with me, but they have questioned me, and I hope I've helped them. And my
Right.
thing is this: look, I can't expect to get all the business. You know what I mean? But ultimately, I think people are smart enough now to know that you really can't, pull the wool over someone eye anymore like before.
Wow.
Okay.
Christine, did that answer your question?
Well, like I said, he know exactly the answer I was looking for. But no, that did answer my question. One more other thing that I wanted to know your opinion on. I'm also a small time investor. And in a couple of different states, I've been shopping recently, and you definitely can't find those handyman specials anymore. It's hard. One of my first jobs, I worked with a developer, a Jewish man on Hillside Avenue, and every Friday we go to the courthouse where we would, bid on houses, all cash. And so that's how I got, my feet wet. But there's no more such thing as finding those types of houses anymore. So the other thing I wanted to ask you was in regards to the bidding war. Where do you think that's coming from? Because all of a sudden, everybody wants to spend more for a house rather than less.
Well, like anything in life, Christy, there's cycles, right? So, for example, coming back to the bidding wars, when there's so much demand for houses, long ago, bank used to put their houses on the, give it to the court, because they're not selling. Bottom line, they want to move the product. Banks now, they're packaging their houses in what's called portfolio. So they'll put 10 houses together in a package and they're selling it to investors. Now, out of the 10, maybe 8 will be great price, 2 maybe a little high price. On average, the investor will make money on all of the houses. And then those investors will then resell them, fix it up. So it's like tiers of different, it's more institutionalized now. It's not like one guy going up to the courts and say, hey, put up my hand, I want to buy the house. It still happens in certain areas. But if you're looking at, like, for example, metropolitan areas such as New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, you're not going to walk up to no courthouse because the demand is so high. For example, like when the crisis happened, we had short sale. Now, a short sale is pretty much is that the seller is agreeing to sell their house in conjunction with the bank for less than what they actually owe. So when we do something called a BPO or a broker's price opinion, we'll go in there and say, okay, well, the house is worth, they owe 500, it's worth, I don't know, 350 or whatever. Again, I'm using wrong numbers here. The problem is that, no, that house is not 350 anymore. It's 750. So the bank is saying, wait, why do I have to short sale it? I'll put it on the market and get full ask or full value. So we live in different times right now. And I believe the other part about, what was the second part? I'm sorry, you were asking me about how you go about finding them? What was the second part of your question?
Christine.
Yes, that did answer my question. Sorry, my son was playing music. It's just too many distractions here. But yeah, that did answer my question. And I'm happy that you're honestly answering everything and giving us some insight on, the real estate and mortgage world.
But if I hear you correctly, Christine, so right now, to borrow money, it's very inexpensive. So the way it works is that so the interest rates are so low, a borrower can borrow more money against their income.
Mm-hmm.
If that rate goes up, it means that the amount they're going to qualify for comes down. All
Right.
right. So because the Fed has kept rates so low, so that's allowing people to buy more house than they would have normally afford. So for
Right.
example, if you can afford a $500,000 house at 3%,
Yeah.
if that rate jumps to 4 or 5 or 6%, you're not doing 500 anymore. You're probably
Do
doing
do you think maybe that's one of
right?
the
But like
reasons
again,
also?
real estate, as we know, it's location, location, location,
Of
right?
course.
There are places that are depressed. There are some cities, for example, like in upstate somewhere, factories have closed down. I'm sure you can probably stand at the court step there and get deals. But here again, who wants to live 300 miles away from New York City? How are we going to get roti
Well,
and doubles? So, it's all
Gotta learn to
location,
cook it.
right?
exactly. And
Yeah,
it also comes down to what can you really afford and
exactly.
what are you willing
Mhm,
to do, right? For that. Now, I know that you travel a lot,
mhm.
right? What is one place, if you could travel to one place, right? And live one place, where would it be?
Mm. I've traveled a lot, Jimmy, and thank you for that question. I'll be honest with you. At the end of the day, I think the one place I would rather not be anywhere else but New York City. This is my city. I love it. My friends, my family are here. I mean, I've moved to Florida for a little while. When I studied to become a broker there, I spent 3 years out there. I practiced out there, and there's no place like New York City. And look, I'm born in Guyana. I love Guyana. I'll go there for vacation. But I got to tell you, I'm
New
New
York
York City
City.
all the way, man.
New
Yes.
York City it is,
Mhm.
man. I know there's something about this
Yeah,
place
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that, it's the magic
Yeah.
of it,
Well,
it's
it's a
not,
love-hate
it's
relationship, right? So when the
exactly,
traffic is bad, you can't stand it, but then all of a sudden
right.
you'll be like, wait, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm hungry, I'll go get something to eat. You're in some
That's
parts,
so
and in
true.
Florida, for example, 9 p.m. in Fort Lauderdale, good luck. I mean, you don't have much choices.
I know. So what is one thing that you have not done yet
Mhm.
that you would like to do?
Well, yeah, that's a very loaded question, but actually, I'm doing it, and that's a segue maybe to your next guest. Um, we've come to this country, pretty much Guyana has given us birth, if you will. Of course, my mom did, but from the country perspective, patriotic reason,
Right.
and this country afford a certain luxury. I mean, we worked hard, good work ethics. I do well by people, and I want to see our people, Shameeza, do well. And big part of my life now is dedicated to mentoring and to kind of see that young generation do
Right.
better than I did, like my kids. I want to pay it forward, and that's why I'm very involved in community activities, but more importantly, in people. I invest in people, and in so do I invest in relationship. And and that is why your next will be on right now. He's like a little brother to me, Elton, Dharry, and then I'm sure you'll introduce him. And my thing is this: look, if we can choose one person and mentor them, or give them whatever resource
Mhm.
that I can afford or I have, and bestow it upon them, and that they can do better, I think I have done my job. Not as only as a human being, but as a proud Guyanese and a Guyana son also.
So what I'm hearing you say, Jack, is if you can give back to your community
Absolutely.
in a way,
Mhm.
kind of like what Get Real with Shanice is doing,
Right?
right?
Absolutely.
Bringing awareness to our
Mhm.
community, letting the people know, giving them stories to inspire them.
Absolutely.
You've gotten to a stage in your life where you're so comfortable that you want to find ways to really maybe educate or empower someone enough and support them
Mhm.
that they can go out and be the best version of themselves.
No, absolutely. And Shamiz, look, and again, I mean, I commend you for, doing this. I mean, look, people need to know what other people are doing out there.
Mhm.
So doing business with me, people think, oh, you buy a house, Jack Bart makes money. Yeah, and I do. But also I have employees in my office, I give back. So doing business with me, you're indirectly helping me,
Yes.
help our own, our sisters and brothers in the community. And
Right.
people sometimes fail to realize, in other words, like the trickle down economics of really doing business in your own community. Like, let's do
Definitely.
business among ourselves so we keep the wealth within. Because a
Yes.
dollar multiplier among ourselves becomes $100 by the time we get to the last person,
Yeah.
and sometimes we don't see that. We
Yeah.
for example, we'll have a small store in Liberty selling sneakers, and but we'll run to Manhattan to some fancy place. Oh, we buy it on Fifth Avenue, and you probably could have got it cheaper, the same sneaker in a local store. I believe in
Definitely.
local business. I'm a strong supporter of local business. I think a vibrant community,
Mhm.
wherever you live, if you give back and you spend locally, the community is healthy. The infrastructure is there in
Right.
terms of we pay our taxes and we get services. Unfortunately, we have not had the kind of representation that we need politically.
Mhm.
And some of our so-called leaders, it's all photo op. And I'm
Mhm.
going to call them out. I mean, and when the time comes to hold them to task, they're nowhere to be found. So I'm sick and tired of giving money to politician that does nothing for our community. So I'm going to make my investment directly into people that I feel that deserve a chance and deserve that push that
Mhm.
would make us all proud. And one gentleman that's been doing that, He's a son of Guyana. It's Elton Dharry. He's come a long way, and I'm honored, privileged to be by his side. To whatever I could in my own capacity, to help push
Definitely.
him forward. And of course, on your
Definitely.
next, let's not, and
Yeah.
I'm trumping you here, but of course, on your
Yeah,
show tonight, I'm in
definitely.
great company, Shameeza. I feel so
I know.
empowered. Terry
For
Gajraj, you
and
kidding me?
I exactly,
Yeah,
we have a great line. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Dr. Budhoo,
Of course, and Dr.
it's
Budhoo, of
like
course. Yeah, yeah.
I feel a lot of love. Like most of you, except for Elton and even our co-host Christine, have some connection to Barbies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I feel the love there among you guys. The
Hmm.
connection and everything. So before I let you go and I know everyone's excited about what's happening here, but before we do that, there's a lot of buzz about the Florida market.
Okay.
What would you see? Is it,
Well,
should we pack up and rush to Florida?
well, no, but again, depending on your lifestyle and what your
Yes.
and I tell people your dream or your lifestyle or what your goal is might be different for someone else's. So what's happening again, like in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Central Florida, Jacksonville, Tampa, those metropolitan areas, real estate is going through the roof right now in terms of pricing. It's hot market right now, but it doesn't mean there's not affordable places. So, for example, I have colleagues in Ocala. Like that's more, Midwest Florida, so to speak. There's still affordability there. Houses are, you can get a house for 190, 180,
Oh.
3 bedroom, 2 bed. But here's the thing. Florida is a state of mind. People have to understand that. You're not gonna wake up and first of all, may not be no sidewalk. You're not gonna walk out to Liberty and pick up roti and doubles. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So if you got to be prepared. So you have to have a conversation with yourself and your family and see if that suits your need. Now this pandemic has changed the way we commute. So if you can work remotely from home and you can get cost of living can be cheaper and you can do your job from home, then maybe Florida's for you. I practice from West Palm southwards. I'm licensed in the state of Florida,
Right.
but I also co-broke with colleagues in Orlando area. So I know the area, I know the market. I spent 3 years there practicing as a broker. So I know what I'm talking about in sense of the areas. Like,
Right.
for example, people said, Jack, what about schools? I want my kids, Coral Springs, affordable. It's gone up in prices, but great schools. You know what I mean? So yeah, there are places that are still depressed in certain parts of Florida,
Right.
but like anything else, location, location, location. If you want to
Location.
be in the metropolitan and in the happening area, the prices are going up or they're through the roof right now. And the same thing is going on in Florida. It's a bidding war. I have seen contract written where it states that regardless of appraised value, we're willing to pay 25 or 30,000 above. So now I'm not caring about the appraiser anymore.
Wow.
And all the sellers are sitting back collecting money. Now remember, real estate is selling. What goes up must come
Must
down.
come down.
If we know exactly when it's coming down, we all will be like insider, what.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
unfortunately,
But
we
we
don't
don't know
because
that.
exactly. So look, the market is hot right now. This pandemic has turned everything topsy turvy. And I
Right.
think because more people are working home and the need to be home in bigger spaces or open spaces has driven the market up, significantly. People want to come out of apartments, they want to come out of crowded, and again, because of pandemic, they want social distancing. And again, what goes up, if interest rates were to go up, I think prices would have to at least stabilize a minimum, but definitely would have to come down a little. I mean, I just can't see how it, if your salary is not keeping up to pace with inflation, I think what Christine
Right.
was asking earlier, and in terms of pricing, there's only so much what you make you can afford. And at
Exactly.
some point, you're gonna be overpriced, it's gonna be outpriced, so to speak. So
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, Christine, you heard it here from Jack. Jack, if our viewers do want to get in contact with you, they want to make you their real estate
Sure.
agent, how can they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure on your link they can click on my name. I mean, I have a website. My number is on there. Again, Shirley, I want to thank you for having me on the program. Like I said, I don't compete. I collaborate. So
Yes.
if you call me and you don't like what I'm saying or you just don't feel the vibe, it's okay. I'm not mad. I'll answer your questions. But ultimately, they're great people out there who are in real estate business. Not everyone is a crook. Not everyone. You
Right.
just have the few to make it bad for all of us. And ultimately, by doing business with me, first I want to thank you if you're considering, and I appreciate the trust and confidence. And by doing this with me, I can come and give back to community and give back to our
Yes.
people. And I think individually we all contribute. Collectively, we all raise our values, our living standards, our patriotic duty. And like I says, I mean, I probably may live here for the rest of my life, but at the end of the day, I'm Guyanese at heart, and
Yes.
I'm proud of my Guyanese crew tonight that we're all here, sons of Guyana, if
Sons
you
of
will.
Guyana,
Yeah.
I like to say
And
that.
daughters
Thank you,
of
Christina.
Guyana
Thank you
too.
for having
Thank
me.
you
And
so much, and good luck with
thank
everything.
you.
And if there is any other thing, if you do for see if you get that crystal ball and you do want to come back and share some anything crazy with us, please feel free to do so. At this time, here is a message from our sponsors.
Thank you.
Enos Driving School offers training for CDL licenses, including tractor trailers, trucks, and school buses. Just think, with a CDL license, you can have access to thousands of driving jobs at large companies such as FedEx, UPS, MTA, or New York Sanitation. Enos Driving School also offers defensive driving courses and training classes for cars and motorcycles, all taught by their college-trained instructors who can even schedule your road test appointments. Inquire about other driving and training packages as well. You might even be qualified for their free CDL training, as they are a certified institution with the New York State Workforce One program. Call Enos Driving School today. They've been serving our community for over 10 years.
Calvin sing at Rancho. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker.
My ancestors came from India in 1838. They came to British Guyana as Jahajis or shipmates. They crossed the Kalapani on the Hesperus and with beef. Bahu Aja and Meaji, Bahu Nana and Nani. Yes, I'm a Desi from Guyana, from the Indian diaspora. Girmitia or Patogia, Mother India and Guyana. I'm a Desi from Guyana, from the Indian diaspora.
He has held the Guyana National and IBF Intercontinental Bantamweight and the WBA Fed Central Super Flyweight titles between 2013 and 2019. In 2013, his win against Rudolph Hedge of Jamaica for the World Boxing Union Bantamweight title made him the first Guyanese to win a world title on home soil. He's humble, kind, and he's ready to take on his next opponent in the ring soon. Please welcome Elton. Elton, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and good evening to the viewers.
So, Elton, I know you grew up in Leg One.
Yes.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing in Leg One?
Yeah, my upbringing in Leg One, we didn't really had much growing up there, but my upbringing there was great. I enjoy every year of my life I spent there. We had a beautiful beach, and we played cricket and swim in the river, and my days even in school was great. We competed in every sport possible in school, and playing and swimming the trench and doing all the fun stuff kids do. Everybody did the same thing, so I enjoyed that, but no complaint.
Wow. Now, I know growing up in Guyana, boxing was not a sport that many people had an opportunity to take on, right? Who or what inspired you to become a boxer?
Well, yeah, you're correct, but in Guyana, boxing didn't start there for me. I quite didn't like boxing when I was in Guyana, but I watched boxing because that's what my dad watched. My older brothers watched that, and all the older folks in the village watched boxing there. There was no place to box there, but that was on TV, and that's what I watched with them.
Exactly.
When we moved here to the U.S., that's what they continue watching every week. Every pay-per-view fight they order, and I became a fan that way. And we didn't live in a very good neighborhood in Brooklyn, East New York, so every week I don't think a week passed without me being in a fight for no reason. My high school was the same thing. So one day I told my older brother I want to box, and didn't take me serious. I think I was just talking, just think it was funny.
Yeah.
And one day my mom bought me two pair of boxing gloves. not the box, just to play around in the living room because it was the only boxing shown him and on the
Wow.
weekends. So,
Yeah.
but I was serious that I want to box, and one day my brother took me to the boxing gym, and here I am years later.
So would you say your mom definitely saw something there? As moms, we have something in us
No,
that no, you just think she just wanted to get you a pair of gloves to play around with?
I don't think mom liked me fighting.
Oh, okay.
We just watch boxing in the house,
Right.
and it was boxing every weekend, just boxing, and the living room would be full of young guys watching boxing. So she just bought that so we can play around in the living room, maybe with my dad or my older brother, just
Yeah.
not to be serious as a serious boxer. I told him that's what I want to do. I
Yeah.
told him that for a year before they took me there. I said every weekend that's what I want to do. I made my mind up. I want to box, and yeah.
What was your mom's reaction at that point?
They think it was just gonna be maybe for a couple months.
Like a phase that you're
I'm
going
just
through?
gonna go there and learn some
Right.
boxing, not be serious. Maybe do something else in my life. But I made my mind up before I started the gym. This is what I want to do. I like it.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yes, here you are. Now, I know your mom prays with you,
Yeah.
right? She prays with you before you leave for every match.
Yes.
What influence has prayers and your faith had in your life?
Well, growing up, you know, my mom taught us to pray from kids, young boys growing up, young kids growing up. She prayed for us with everything we do. If we leave in the house, she prayed for us. Come home, she prayed for us. Got a game to play, she prayed
She
for
prays
us. So
for you.
yeah, prayer been a part of my life. When I started boxing, I used to not let her know I'm fighting because I didn't want her to be worried.
Yes.
So I hid that from her for a little bit. But all she wanted was to pray for me before the fight. So I started letting her pray for me before fighting. And, it definitely gave me a little bit more confidence and a little bit more focus. And,
Hmm.
that motivation I need is there a little bit more. So, mom prayer does work.
It definitely does work. At this time, I'll take a question from Christine.
Hi, Elton.
Hi, Christine. I
I
was,
haven't seen you in a very long time.
yes, I was expecting to hear from
Pandemic blues. So I'm so happy to have you on tonight. Like I, told the viewers earlier, I requested to be on this lineup, especially because you and the other guys were on, and I knew I wanted to hear from you guys and hang out with you a little bit. So my first question to you is, it's going to be a fun question. I really want to know who's your barber.
I have many barbers, but the one I go to the most is Navin at New Looks Barber in Rockaway in 117. My last haircut was with a new barber. His name is Barber Skills on
Okay.
Lefferts. I'm a guy who just don't like waiting. So if my barber is not free, I just cut with
Uh-oh.
somebody else. But Navin is my main guy at
Well,
New Look.
I had to ask that question because you have some like great haircuts. It's
Ah,
very trendy, and um, your hair speaks a lot about you.
thank you.
So yeah, so that was my first fun question. And my next question to you is, where do you normally train? I think I saw somewhere Gleason, and that could be in Dumbo. But where do you normally train?
I do my boxing training in Gleason's gym. I would, well, it's considered the greatest boxing gym in the world ever.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say I train there. But I do my conditioning training in Queens, New York, which is no one know that, but no, they
Oh
know.
well, they do now.
Yeah,
Yes. So you
Oops.
heard it here first.
And my next question before I hand it over to Shameeza is, now I know your mom prays for you before a match. Boxing is a brutal game, a sport actually. And my husband and I we go to Vegas all the time to MGM to watch fights. And so boxing is a big part of our life, and I don't even know why. It's very dangerous and very brutal, but people get an enjoyment out of it. You know, it's a great pastime and a great sport. But my question for you is, do you see yourself boxing for, I mean, where do you see yourself going? Where do you want your career to head? Are you heading to Vegas? What do you want to do?
Um, I've well, no one knows my whole story in boxing. I've spent my first 3 years of my career in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. I've fought in Vegas a few times. I've fought in Los Angeles. I've been there. It's not where you fight is what you fight for.
Mhm.
Um, where I'm heading is to that world title, and that's what I've been chasing my entire career. I've never really had the powerful people in the business pushing my career. They didn't really give an opportunity to me. I mean, if you look at me, you'll know why. I
Yeah.
never complain about it. I just created my own opportunity. I work hard, and they had to recognize that I'm one of the best guys in the world. Where I've made myself a contender. I fight my way up to there. So my next step is to become world champion. I've had that opportunity 2 years ago against Andrew Maloney in Australia. The officials didn't see things my way, but the people did see what happened, and I'm still chasing that.
Okay. All right.
Great. So I know you're still very young. There's so much
Yes.
things yet to come your way, right? Speaking of, you know, accomplishments, um, what is one thing that you have on your bucket list that you would like to accomplish?
See my name was number one in the world. That's
Oh,
that's that's the main thing. I usually don't share my goals and bucket list stuff
right.
because I usually work hard if I want something.
Yeah.
I don't tell people this is what I want to do or this is what I want. This is what I'm set to do. I just work and accomplish it, and they'll see it, and then they'll ask questions then. But it's obvious if you follow boxing. Professional fighters, their main goal from young, if they're in the sport, is to be number one in the world, and everybody just want to accomplish that and put that in the bucket list. I've done that,
Definitely.
so
Well,
yeah.
wish you well with that,
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure you're on the right track for
I'm on
that.
the right
So,
track. Yeah.
definitely. What is something that you have learned as a boxer that has changed your life?
I would say working hard, staying disciplined, understand that life's given to you. If you want to accomplish something, you gotta stay disciplined and work for it. It's not you're gonna have good days and bad days, but if you can stay disciplined, stay focused, and work hard, you'll accomplish that. So that part, is major in my life.
Mhm.
Even helped me stay away from the wrong crowd at times.
Yeah,
That's part of discipline.
yeah,
So yeah, discipline is the number one thing.
for sure. Um, Now, when it comes to discipline and when it comes to, all the things that you've been doing in your life, I know right now you have an upcoming match in September
Yes,
in Guyana,
yes,
right? And I know Jack was just on. Jack spoke of our local business and our people here in our community. I know that you have quite a few people that support you here in Queens, New York. So at this point, I do want to take this opportunity. I want you to take the opportunity
yeah.
to, extend your gratitude to the people who has been there to support you as well.
Yeah, well, Jack is, he's very supportive with me. I met him quite a long time ago, but he's been very supportive with me. He's doing a lot for me right now in my career. Him and Karen, Kaichor, Naomi, Gemini, Jiwan Prasad, and Harish Prasad, they helped get me back in the ring in the Dominican Republic. So I'm very thankful for the
Yeah.
support I got from them.
And so you're looking forward to your next fight, and then you know who you'll be facing
Well,
in your next fight.
my next fight is against a Brazilian fighter in Ghana. Should be September 25th. We're still waiting to confirm everything.
Yeah, great. Well, I wish you well. Any final message before you leave us here tonight?
If you want to accomplish something, just work hard. Just go out there, take some risks with your life, and live your life. Be thankful, and work hard for what you want.
Great message. Great message. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I appreciate it. Here is a message from our sponsors.
Enos Driving School offers training for CDL licenses, including tractor trailers, trucks, and school buses. Just think, with a CDL license, you can have access to thousands of driving jobs at large companies such as FedEx, UPS, MTA, or New York Sanitation. Enos Driving School also offers defensive driving courses and training classes for cars and motorcycles, all taught by their college-trained instructors who can even schedule your road test appointments. Inquire about other driving and training packages as well. You might even be qualified for their free CDL training, as they are a certified institution with the New York State Workforce One program. Call Enos Driving School today. They've been serving our community for over 10 years.
Gavin sing at Rancho. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker. Yeah, my liquor is my lover. I was born a drinker.
He has dominated the Guyanese music scene for the past 25 years. He released his debut album Soca Lambada in 1990, but it was Guyana Babu in 1994 that established him as a household name and propelled him to international acclaim. As a son of the soil, he is the most toured artist to emerge out of Guyana and whose successes in promoting Guyanese music and culture around the world remains unmatched. A few of his accomplishments. Guyana's most recorded artist in over 30 albums and hundreds of songs. Performed off Broadway in West Indian Dreams in Manhattan, New York. He is the first singer from the Caribbean to perform at the Bollywood Music Awards, the Indian equivalent of the Grammys. He has created the Screw the Light Bulb Indian dance and introduced the call and response style to Guyanese chutney music, thereby making it more interactive, exciting, and popular. He has thrilled the worldwide audience with his brand of Guyanese music and culture and spread the sound of Guyana beyond our borders. Please welcome Dharry Gajraj.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
It is truly a pleasure to have you here this evening. Now, you have quite a list of accomplishments that and that's not even all. I mean, if we were to continue listing those, we'll probably be here for, an additional 2 hours.
Oh my God. Thank you. You're too kind.
Now, you grew up in Firish Village in Berbice.
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood? What was it like for you?
Yeah. Poor family struggling for water. You got to, grab your bucket and go fetch water. When the rain fall, you set the barrel and things to catch water and thing.
Yeah.
And of course, we had our Monday in Irish.
Yes.
And all props to the Monday because that's where I learned to sing.
Yeah.
And I learned to play all the different instruments, the dolak, the dantal, the harmonium, and it kind of gave me that confidence to speak publicly, sing publicly,
Right.
So thank you to my Aja.
To your aunt.
Yeah, my
No,
grandfather.
Aja is grandfather from your dad's side.
From that side, that's
right.
correct.
So anyone who is listening and you're not familiar with that term,
Yeah.
it's your paternal grandfather.
That's right.
Right. Christine, are you there, Christine?
I'm here. Hi, Dharry.
I think she's saying hello.
Hi, Dharry. How are
Christine.
you?
How you doing?
I didn't see you in a long time either. You're one of my party buddies. We're always in the same events. And we recently became good friends over some similar likenesses. And, I don't have to tell you the rest.
It's a pleasure knowing you.
Yeah, Dharry, I was always a big fan of yours since I was younger. I don't want to give away age and everything, But But even when we didn't know you, I was one of the people in the back screaming, hey, Dharry, right? Um, but where did you come up? You always have these nice little things that you say at the concerts, like little rhythms or rhymes, and or we say
Catchphrase.
baji, you say, one of those things. Where do you come up with those things?
Well, from traveling and doing my shows all over, like you go to Trinidad, and I have so many fans in Trinidad, so I get to learn the little differences. Me say Katahar, you say Shatain, me say Bora, you say Bodi, me say Kiar, Trinidad can say Ka,
Yeah.
Duck, Courier, Corey Duck, and there's so many more.
Oh, the duck curry and curry dog, the curry thing, man. That's it. I'm not gonna touch that one.
Oh yeah. So that's always a crowd pleaser. Now, Terry, you've always been an ambassador for Guyana. I don't know if it's officially, but unofficially, you are the Guyanese ambassador all around the world. And as a matter of fact, I saw one time Shah Rukh Khan played your music. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was amazing. That was a shocker. It was I did the Bollywood Music Awards in the year 2000, and all the Bollywood stars were there, all the musicians, all the singers. So they heard the song Saki Boom, and I assumed they took it back to India.
Right.
And so the following year, Shah Rukh did his world tour.
Right.
And I feel very blessed and very honored that he sang Saki Boom. He danced to Saki Boom in Trinidad. That song was played 5 times at the one concert.
Oh,
It was the entrance, it was the outro. Shah Rukh did it, Show Shakti danced it, they played it back, and he really fell in love with it. He did it in Canada, he did it here. So thank you for bringing that up, Christine. That was an honor.
Did you ever meet him?
Christine mentioned you went into details.
I have to hear the Saki Boom now.
Yeah, no problem. Isa mana laida, Isa ka boom, boom, boom. Like Shah Rukh, he called it the boom boom song.
Oh.
The name is Saki Boom, right? Yeah, so, we had so much of fun with that song. I toured, performed it around the world. I did it at the Bollywood Music Awards, and oh my God, it was great. It was amazing. I can't believe it actually happened. It's like a dream. I still can't believe I got to pinch myself then.
Yeah, one of those things, but I'm sure you have many of those things right now.
Many of those things that you have accomplished for yourself, but not
Yeah.
only you've accomplished it for yourself, Terry,
Yeah.
you have put Guyana on the map when
Yeah.
it comes to you and your music,
Right? So, um, very impressive stuff that other than yourself, who would you say has been there with you?
That's impacted your life through these years.
There's so many people, starting with my Aja, my dad, all my chacha them, which is my uncle them.
Yeah.
They all one taught me guitar, one taught me the accordion. So I learned something from all of them. And then as I grew in the music industry, Sundar Popo, he was such an inspiration to me growing up as a little boy. We had a little identity crisis because we are immersed with Bollywood music, which I love. That's my jam. That's my number one. And then we'd hear music from Suriname, music from Venezuela, from Brazil. We would listen to all the radio stations, Radio Radica as a little kid. Then I heard Sundar Popo sing, Nana Nani, Garte Nikale Dire Dire Chalte Hai. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Because I wanted to represent where I came from. I wanted to represent my country. I wanted to represent my ancestry, where my ancestors came from. I wanted to represent who I am. And chutney music did that. It's amazing that a lot of people don't like chutney music, but they don't realize how impactful, how defining chutney music is, because it's a blend of the music from India and the music from the Caribbean. That's who we are. A lot of people try to run away from their identity, but me, I love it. I embrace it. I want to be proud of it. And I want all the people, my people, to also and realize this is your identity and you can make it better. People respect you when you are who you are instead of pretending to be somebody else. So yeah, that was my motivation, and I can keep talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to listen right now. Speaking of your
of music and everything that you have done and accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Had you not chosen music,
Yeah.
what would Terry Gajraj be doing right now?
I'd be a school teacher because my dad was a school teacher,
Really?
Yeah, yeah, my sister. And we love teaching because even as a little kid, kids would come over to our home. My dad would give them free lessons. I mean, my dad was an amazing guy. He did everything for free for everyone. My mom, the same thing. So we ended up also teaching, because we were assisting my dad. Okay, this is the correct spelling, grammar, da da da, math. So it was natural. So yes, teacher.
Teaching. Now, you probably didn't see the starting of our show, but tonight's show is dedicated to all teachers. So all the teachers out there, thank you so much. Even
Thank
Terry is
you.
seeing here.
That is amazing.
Our very first guest tonight was Dr. Budhoo, who is a
Yes.
teacher,
Mhm.
and he had some amazing things to say about
Yes.
his journey and what he's accomplished and where he sees teachers. So,
Yeah.
thank you for that. I can hardly believe you've been performing for over 25 years, right? So, I mean, you still look like 27.
Oh God, thank you.
Do you actually feel younger or older?
I feel like I'm 25.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if it's mentally,
Yeah.
but I've always told myself I will always be a student, though my profession would have been a teacher. But I feel if you're a student, there's so much to learn. There's so much to observe. I can learn from you. I can learn, and I look at it, and that's my mindset. Always learning from the old guys, the new guys. You learn from something good. You learn from something bad.
Definitely.
And I want to take it all in.
For sure. I feel, we're all students on this journey.
Yes.
We're constantly learning, and unless we're ready to accept and to make changes,
Yeah.
right, which comes with learning,
Correct.
we can't truly live our best life. That's my
Hey,
opinion about it.
That's your teacher theme. It's perfect for the teacher. And from the time you tell yourself, I know everything, you're done.
Done, yes. I know Christine here, my dear friend, she is one of those people who's constantly changing, who's constantly learning as well, right, Christine?
Absolutely. There's a saying that says, only a smart person would know if they're stupid, right? And I'm very stupid, if you know what I mean.
Yes, we kind of know what you mean, Christine. Now,
But
if there was a song,
Uh-huh.
right? If there was a song that you can think of that could
Yeah.
be the soundtrack of your life, Terry's life,
Yeah.
what do you think that song is?
Oh my God. Bangali Babu.
Bang
Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, because it was a very sensitive, vulnerable time. When you're in Guyana, you have this foreign mindset. The
Right.
grass is always greener on the other side. You want to get out of Guyana. Finally, I left Guyana, migrated to New York, and it's like, I realized how much I miss
It's
Guyana.
Guyana.
The food, the culture, the people. I mean, my parents, my
Right.
family. It's like everything I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my soundtrack. I am going back to Guyana to find me a Dullahin for this Dullaha. It's like so many things in that song. Yeah.
What was it? Pack of what?
Back up me grip and let me go. We say grip, but I say suitcase. Yes.
Pack of a grip, definitely. Now, if you can team up with any Bollywood singer,
Yeah,
right? Because I know you and I
Yeah.
both love Bollywood.
I do.
Who would it be?
And this is not a singer, but a Bollywood musician. And once again, goes back to the Bollywood Music Awards in the year 2000. Terry Gajraj, a little country boy from Guyana, singing, and many even know who.
Right.
I saw this dark-skinned fellow like me.
Mhm.
Yeah, A.R. Rahman, sitting
Oh.
in the very front, center, middle, and he was cheering. I mean, I wish I had that video, but he was cheering me on, and the smiles, all the pearls. And when I was finished, he sent his manager agent to get me, brought
Wow.
me to his what do you call it? Well, not studio, suite, whatever. You change your dressing room. So I
Yeah.
went to his dressing room, and he was so full of compliment, and he offered me to go to India, and sing with him because he loved the kind of music. And later on, I realized why. Because I saw that, his music was so blended with all the different
Yes.
cultures. And it was one of those things I wish I could have said yes to, but I had to humbly decline because it was that time in my life when I was here and I had to work. And, it was hard to make ends meet. And I was sponsoring my mom and dad. So it was, yeah.
So
I
tell
have,
me,
but
let's hunt
that's
him
the guy.
down.
That's the guy. I would gladly do it with him again.
That's
If that offer ever comes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Do you still have his number?
I can get his number because
Sure
I
you
know guys who know
Let's
guys.
hunt him down. Yeah.
And I know he's still relevant in the music
Oh,
industry.
yes.
He's
Very.
a few years ago because of that movie, Slumdog
Millionaire,
Millionaire.
correct.
A lot of people knows his name and what
Yes.
he's been doing. And
Yeah.
after that, he's one of those guys from back in the days that I've always thought his music was unique,
Yes.
and he had something about him that's quite different. That I totally loved his music. So
Very creative.
I would love to see
Yeah.
something with you and him.
You never know, right?
You never know, right? That's the beauty about
Yep.
being Terry Gajraj.
I know.
right. You can
We'll see.
you can never know what will come next. Now,
Tell us about your upcoming events. You
Oh.
have you like Superman. Christine is Superwoman here. Superman.
I love performing.
Yes,
And,
I
you know,
do.
and it's the love. And what it is, I pride myself ever since Bangali Babu. I performed every single month, every single year, every single week in, nonstop for over 25 years. And every year I try to do a different country, a different city, a different province, because the whole idea is taking our Guyanese music, our Guyanese culture to different places that never experienced it. Last year was the only year that COVID broke my record. I had Belgium last year, and I had a New Zealand, and also Thailand. Well, that one wasn't confirmed, but I know it will happen. But yes, the schedule has gotten like almost like normal again, and we're going to be doing Punta Cana for the very, very
Yes.
first time. The Dharry is happening there, August, 12th through the 16th. I mean, the 12th is sold out, so they have added another date. So people want to go, you can book the 11th of August and still come to Punta Cana and create history with us again.
Yes.
Where we get to, showcase our culture to different cultures or music or food,
Duck curry.
Yeah.
Nothing speaks our culture like duck curry. So is it duck curry or curry duck?
I know.
Duck curry. It's duck
Okay,
curry.
right
That's
now.
really good. And
Christine, what do you say?
cricket as well, and
Cricket.
Tassa as well on the beach in Punta Cana.
Man,
Yeah.
you're making me feel a little bit jealous here.
Well,
Christine,
I have been trying to catch one of Terry's shows the last few months. I am actually in Florida right now, Terry. Every time you come to Florida, I'm in New York. I wanted to be there in person in the studio to chat with you. You never know, I might surprise you in Punta Cana.
Hey.
Christine, call me after this. We can talk, okay?
Yep, you never know. So I wanted to ask you a question about another song and your inspiration for that. This is another fun question. So one of my favorite songs of yours was Mami Bele Roti Dharry Chonke Dal. Tell me something about that. How did that come about?
That song actually came about right in the kitchen. It's something that I used to sing since back home in Guyana. Mami Bele Roti Dharry Chonke Dal, Didi Megdi Joka Bori.
Body Total.
It's something that we normally just sing, right? And then after Bangali Baba was like, oh my God, I'm thinking now what songs, because people are asking me, oh, record another one. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. That started in our little kitchen, Irish Road in Guyana.
Irish Road in Guyana. Now, Terry, everyone's watching right now, and they're excited to get a little bit of Terry.
Oh yeah.
They just heard things that they probably never knew about you.
I know.
But you cannot leave us without giving us one of your absolute favorite songs. So no pressure. But whenever you're ready, if you have to, get warmed up, whatever it is, a chorus, something.
Not I love singing, so usually I can sing from now till tomorrow. It no matter. But you know, like Bangali Babu, that's a song that everybody knows.
Definitely.
Oh, Lilawati, your body like a gold, face like an angel, you take away my soul. Miss Sona like a honeymoon, leja, leja. You know, there are so many songs. Ay mere dile nadan. Oh, my darling, why you leave me and you gone? But I'll sing for you my favorite Terry Gajraj song.
All
Yes.
right.
And, you know, this song again is because I care so much for my culture, my identity, my roots, you know, where I came from. This is a song that I love and my Terry Gajraj favorite. And it goes like this. My ancestors came from India in 1838. They came to British Guyana as Jahajis or shipmates. They crossed the Kalapani on the Hesperus and Whitby. Bahut Aja and Miyaji, Bahut Nana and Nani. Yes, I'm an Indo-Caribbean man from an Indo-Caribbean land. I love my Indo-Caribbean tradition, me culture, me education. Yes, and we can keep singing, but yeah, like, you know,
Wow.
it's educational, brings out the teacher in me again.
Exactly.
I wrote that song because I wanted children to learn about our history, and it's a lot harder to read about it than you just listen to it, you
Exactly.
know. So a little what you call edutainment.
Exactly.
Edutainment.
Entertainment. If you haven't heard that word before, use
That's a Guyanese word.
Terry. Christine, is there anything else that you have for Terry?
You know what? I'm all out of questions, but since I asked Elton this question, I'll ask you too. Who is your barber?
There we go.
Now you would not believe it, and I don't tell anybody this secret, but Terry Gajraj Barba is Terry Gajraj.
Wow.
You just heard it. Please don't
Yeah.
look for his barber.
Yeah, you know, and I used to cut my daddy hair, my mommy used to cut my hair, and the same issue that I had, I tried barbers, but the wait, and
Oh,
I
yes.
really hate waiting. You know, I like to make my time productive. So yes, I cut my hair myself, and I actually gave myself a haircut 2 days ago.
Wow.
It was a
Well,
little
now
long.
you're multi-talented
I
for
do a quick
sure.
thing, you know.
This weekend, you were performing at
Yes, Amazura.
Amazura.
Yes, big event with the guys from Guyana, the guys from Trinidad. You know,
Yes.
so it'll be a very
Quite
nice
an
event.
event.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I will be there.
Ah,
I will. I've actually interviewed almost every one of those guys. I had
yes.
you just made it, but I've had Ravi on. I've had JP. Now you,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll have Raymond sometime in the future.
Yes, we can organize that. He
We
is in
can-
town.
Yes, I am aware of that.
But Terry, I thank you.
My pleasure.
It is
Thank you.
truly, when I was starting this show,
Uh-huh.
one of the first people on my list, and I can definitely show you that was Terry. And I know I reached out to you,
Thank you.
and I said, Terry, we need to collaborate. We need to.
Yeah.
I would love to have you on my show. And you said, Shameeza, definitely. And
Yes.
here you are tonight. So it's like my dream finally came true. So I want to thank you. I wish you well. I know you don't need my well wishes, but
Oh, I do.
truly an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry.
Week
Mm.
on Get Real with Shameeza, we'll bring you a story of a boss lady that is strong and persistent. She is not afraid to be herself. She is known as Superwoman. Well, Christine, this sounds a lot like you.
What?
Oh,
I'm
It
not
actually-
listening.
Christine Lachana will be our guest for next week's show.
Nice.
Christine, can you give us a little sneak peek of what you're going to talk about, or that they have to come back next week?
They have to come back next week. I'm very versatile, and there's a lot that happened in my life, but I'm not any different than anybody else. I believe in modesty, and one of my inspirations from Terry G, being a very humble Guyanese and representing your country. And, that's definitely an inspiration for me. And that's how I live my life, even though I am an American and I'm proud to be an American. I'm also a Guyanese at heart, and that's also something that Terry shares.
Great, Christine. My musical guest is always a surprise to me, so we will all find out very soon. Tonight's show has taught me with the right attitude and some discipline, we're all capable of greatness. We are all born with a gift to live this life to the fullest. We may encounter challenges, but it's up to each one of us to stand up and face each challenge with bravery. Let's rise up and challenge ourselves every day to be a better version of who we were yesterday. And let's show our future generations that they're capable of greatness because we live today and pave the way for them. I would like to thank all my guests tonight, my sponsors, my co-host Christine for her contribution to tonight's show. This was episode 10 of Get Real with Shameeza. Thank you so much. Jack, please join us. Christine, good night to you. Good night to these amazing
Good
guys.
night.
Thank you. Lovely to have you. Be on the
Until
show.
next time, stay real, stay brave. Good night.
Good night.